Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. So what I wanted to do for you today is something, I think I've only done one of these videos before, and it was with Jaclyn Hill, where I took a look at one of Jaclyn's first videos and a video that she recorded more recently to see kind of how makeup technique has changed. Their techniques have changed, their skill has changed, everything you can think of has changed. And see like kind of what influenced that difference. Is it the lighting they're under, the more products that become available, all this kind of stuff. So what I want to do today is do the same, but I want to do it with Nikkie tutorials and take a look at one of her earliest, not the first, but one of her earliest videos and compare it to something that she has recorded more recently. Now, there is no doubt at all that Nikkie is incredibly talented. Her blending and her eye looks are just phenomenal. But what I'd be really interested to see in today's videos is to see how her skin technique has changed, if it has changed. Nikkie is known for doing very full coverage makeup, which isn't a bad thing. I think a lot of people think I don't like full coverage because I talk about using too much product, but it really does depend on placement and where you use it. Let's see what happens. Anyway, just before we get into this today, if this is your first time here on my channel, hi, my name's Robert. I'm a professional makeup artist here on YouTube and also in real life, and it's my goal to help you become a pro yourself or just someone who's really good at makeup. So if that sounds like something you are interested in, then please consider subscribing. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's take a look at this video. This is called Makeup Tutorial, Dramatic Black and White Look.
Hey everyone, today we're going to do this dramatic white, silver, and black look. It was a request from someone on the Makeup Geek forum.
Straight up. So this is 2009. So that is many years ago. Let's just talk about her blending here. First of all, incredible. When was her blending never not good? This is absolutely amazing. And 2009, this is quite, I even think this look might be quite dramatic for 2009. Trend setting. Okay, let's go.
And I hope you like it. And if you want to know how I did this dramatic look, keep on watching.
That's, yeah, literally, it's called dramatic look. Now that's not so dramatic, but back then this is very out there. And also the precision of that cut crease.
To start this dramatic white and black look, you're going to put on your primer. I use Beijing Shade Stick. And just like in the Arabic tutorial, we're going to put gesso on the lid to help it blend out the pencil and all the colors. Now you're going to take a black creamy eyeliner pencil. I will take Gosh eyeliner in black ink. Make sure it's sharp, so sharpen it up a bit. And just like in our previous video, you're going to look straight in your mirror and paint that crease line on your eye.
That's such a good tip for people with hooded eyes. Nikkie's eyes are slightly hooded. Like, I think mine can be slightly hooded sometimes. Like, if I look straight forward, you don't see the whole lid. If you have hooded eyes, looking straight forward into a mirror, just being your normal face, holding your normal face how it is, not like raising your eyebrows or anything like that, because that's how your face is going to be the whole time. So to look straight forward in the mirror and to map it out is perfect. I know what she's going to do with this pencil, and it makes me smile. It reminds me of learning how to do makeup and wishing one day that I could do this. I think she's going to draw on and smudge it out. And I remember thinking like, oh my God, one day I will have that precision as well. I don't know if I could do this with a pencil, to be honest with you. Now we have such amazing cut crease products. It's been a long time.
Again, I can't talk.
Yes. So again, 2009. Oh, this is memories. I don't think, how old was I in 2009? Oh shit, maths. But again, when I was learning to do makeup, some of the main tools were Q-tips, cotton buds like this, triangle sponges, and that was a way you would blend eyeshadow, even if you were fading it up. Most of the time, they taught you to do it a lot of time with Q-tips for some reason.
Okay, now take a small brush and blend that line out. Just wiggle it back and forth with a Q-tip. Blend the end out a bit. Now you're going to take that Essence of Beauty crease brush again, the bigger size one, and take your 88 palette and go in the color above black. Go in that color, it's a slightly black gray color, and start tracing that line and making it dark.
Let's stop there because you can see, oh, that's a good pause. You can see the depth of color and depth of depth with a really deep black, and the way she's blending it out with a Q-tip, the gray. This is, I mean, for somebody who I'm guessing at her age here isn't professionally trained in makeup at all, maybe hasn't even had lessons, anything like that. This is some amazing blending. And again, the amount of knowledge that was around for makeup back then that was accessible online was very little. I'm sure this is probably one of the only videos that was around on YouTube to learn makeup from. So to have that you know, amazing kind of blend at that age, at this time, is so incredible. I sometimes think, you know, tell me if I'm wrong. Oh, is this going to be rude? No, I don't think so. No, how's that rude? Do you feel some people are just born, not born, like it's their life goal, but able to be a little bit more artistic? Do you think creativity and artistry can be taught? Or do you think there always has to be, someone always has to be, you know, have it inside them? Let me know what you think. No right or wrong answer. I don't know. Is there? I don't know.
So just trace that line a bit and make it darker. And if you mess up a bit, take a Q-tip and just remove the shadow from the lid space.
I forgot to mention as well, what was great to see at the beginning here was her hooded eye versus the eye that she'd already done. Did you see how big it looked and how much space there was? Just by taking it higher above that crease, you can, I know it's very difficult to do makeup on hooded eyes for some of you, but you can cheat the crease. You know what I mean? Create a new kind of eye shape.
Then take the bigger size one and go in that black color really lightly because you don't want too much black. And blend the black above that line. So you get a nice black stroke on your crease. Blend it upwards. Then take your Sonia Kashuk blending brush and blend it out a bit.
It would be great to see in the later video how she holds her brushes, because you can see in this video here she's holding her brushes quite close to the, where's the brush? Quite close to the hairs here, which can apply a lot of pressure and make blending a little bit patchy depending on what you've done underneath. And by moving your hand higher up the brush towards the end, you can get a much softer blend. It's an easier way to blend basically. So it'd be interesting to see how that develops throughout her time doing makeup.
Okay, now we're going to let that crease rest for a bit and we're going to do our lid. I'm going to take a small stiff shader brush like this one and go in gesso and pack this on really good and much, and all you want to call it, on the inner third of the lid.
She's also a really great teacher. This is a really good tutorial to follow. I don't think there's any part of the structure of the eyeshadow that she's left out and been like, oh, you get it, you know, like she mentioned before about even little things like don't worry about the mess on the inside because we'll get to that later. She's a really great teacher. It's good tutorials. These are the kind of tutorials I think people miss on YouTube, but then also they never watch them. Like the really in-depth like ones that teach, you know.
Go back in that gray color from the palette just a little bit with that Sonia Kashuk blending brush and blend.
I love that flick. But you know what? Even then, she didn't blow on her brushes. You see beauty YouTubers now who still blow on their brushes. And yeah, it's their own personal brushes, but then you're putting that product back into a palette, you know, and then back on their face. And, you know, things grow in those brushes that you don't really want to grow in there. But, I mean, even again, at that age, at early stage of being able to do makeup, She knew the importance of not blowing on your brushes. That's cool. It's good to see. So cute. I really want to see her do skin. So let me try and find skin. How to get perfect glowy skin, my foundation routine. And this is from May 2011. Oh,
So I got a couple, actually a lot. I got a lot of requests to do a daily face routine for my face. I always wanted to do it, but I was like, they're gonna hate me for it because I use so much products. But today...
that's interesting to know that even 2011, when was 2011? That she still used like quite a few different products on the face. It's okay to use a lot of product. How much you use of that product is another thing, you know what I mean? If you're doing, for example, like natural skin for runway or for, well, not so much for editorial, but sometimes for editorial, it takes a lot of product to make your skin look natural, you know, and clean and fresh. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how she does her skin here.
Hey, I'm just gonna do it because the requests were coming in like amounts. It might seem like I use a lot of stuff. I use a lot of products, but I use minimum amount of the product itself. If you want to know how I got this skin and what I'm wearing and all that stuff, then please keep on watching. What I personally always start with is moisturizer, and moisturizer is really essential if you have oily skin, dry skin, combination skin. You just need moisturizer. For foundation, I always mix two colors. I take a darker color and I take a lighter color, and that will make my color. Because what I believe is that some people are really lucky when they have like one bottle of foundation and that's exactly their color. I don't really believe in that. I think you have to get two colors and mix and match them to your own skin color.
Yeah, I completely agree. I have in my kit, my professional kit, I have a foundation palette. So it has from very fair to a very deep skin tone foundation, and then on the other side it's concealer, and there's loads of choice. I would never dream of going in with one color and slapping it on someone's face in a professional setting. On myself, fine, whatever. But there's depth to the face, and you know there's certain ways to even it out. So I completely agree, especially at this time, 2011. Foundation shade choices weren't as especially drugstore, I don't know if she's using drugstore, we didn't have as many options as we do now, because makeup wasn't as popular as it is now. It wasn't like a hobby. It wasn't like you know, Instagram wasn't around making it amazing. YouTube wasn't around making it popular. So drugstores couldn't really afford to put out product that they couldn't guarantee would sell. So now that's why you see a lot more choice in drugstore in terms of makeup and skincare, and a lot more shade range, even when it comes to lipstick and blush and eyeshadow and different textures. There's a lot you see in the drugstore now that you wouldn't have seen back then. So as Nikkie's saying here, it's still very relevant today that you may be able to be lucky and find your skin tone, but I do prefer to mix color also. So it's a very good point.
Then I'm gonna take my beauty blender. This is the sponge I always use for my face, and then I just take some of the concealer and I just start patting it on. What you want to know is that when you pat it on, you really get the pigmentation of your foundation. See it as eyeshadow. If you pat eyeshadow on, you get the true color. If you like smear it on, you're like blending away the pigmentation. It's the same with foundation.
Yes, 100%. This is when you see people, where's a flat brush? Why can I never find brushes? Okay, not necessarily this brush, but they get eyeshadow and they start doing this. It's like you're pressing the colour and then moving it and smearing it away. Tapping, if you want full pigmentation, is the absolute best thing to do. I've got itchy nose. Same with foundation. If you do want that full coverage and that full coverage from your foundation, tapping and bouncing is the much better option, whether it's with a sponge, a beauty blender, or a brush, like a kabuki brush, for example. By tapping it into a face, you do get that full coverage. This is, my timeline in my head of when makeup became really popular online. What kind of year do you think that was? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18? I don't think it was yet. She has so much knowledge, so much makeup knowledge. So we can see from even back then that she did like to do full coverage. So it isn't really a habit that has adapted just from being on social media or in front. of big lights like now. I always think with like beauty YouTubers that they adapt to this full coverage because they're on camera and because it works better on camera. But it's interesting to see she does it in real life.
This is Illamasqua's Rich Liquid Foundation. This is hands down the best high coverage foundation ever. They just grab some of that product and I just start going under my eye. Go under it. And then with me, I have dark circles on the inner corners of my eyes as well. So I go ahead and grab some of that as well, like that. And then just take a bit more and blend it down for a highlight on your cheeks. Then I take my beauty blender again and I just blend that into my skin. Then I always set my concealer immediately with my Face Run Helium powder. And this powder is kind of light reflecting because it has like a sort of shimmer in it, which I really like. And I just set my concealer with it. Just the concealer, nothing else. Okay, so once I've set that under eye concealer,
so you all know how I feel about that much product under the eyes. Okay, that's kind of what I wanted to see with her foundation and concealer. It was just, yeah, just to see if she did it back then and how she did it now. And the answer is yes, she absolutely does. So I want to see her do eyes and skin. So let's go for full face using Fenty Beauty. So she's done a primer already, and I just want to see, I just skipped it forward to the foundation just to see how it goes.
So I'm gonna go in with the colors 140 and 130, and let's get to glamming, baby.
So exactly the same technique we had in 2011.
So as you can see, the coverage on this foundation is a little less intense than what I usually gravitate towards. You know, people have been demanding for me to change it up a little bit more and not go full coverage every single damn video. So baby, it's here. Now it's time for concealer, and I'm going in with the Fenty Beauty number 140.
So slightly more than she used back then. I wonder now if that's a camera thing, or maybe that's just how she likes it. But yeah, it's slightly more. And she doesn't use a brush anymore, which is interesting. I wonder if, I love to use brushes for concealer. I think I feel like I have more control, especially around the eye area. Let me know if you prefer a brush or beauty blender or beauty sponge. Yeah, I prefer brushes with like a more flatter, like concentrated tip. But I guess if you want more full coverage, a sponge is better.
All right, once that is blended in like perfection, I'm now gonna set my face using the Pro Filter Loose Setting Powder in Butter. All right, my glow babies. I went off camera, did my brows, did one eye, and oh my God, I am living for this cut crease fantasy.
Okay, let's take a look at eyes. This is, luckily, it looks like a similar idea, like that whole cut crease situation and going above the eye. The shape's slightly different. It's more pulled out than rounded. But yeah.
So there's going to be a whole lot of cut creasing going on later on. So what you want to keep in mind when placing these shadows is that you want to go higher up than you usually would. I have hooded eyes. Now, if you have hooded eyes, listen up. The number one problem people with hooded eyes tend to do is follow their natural crease.
Yeah.
If I were to follow my natural crease, which is right there, the brown would be right here. And then as soon as I would cut my crease, everything would be gone. So I'm taking this brown very high up so that in the end...
Oh, that's another thing I wanted to point out as well. Let's see if I can capture it.
Drop my brush in the end.
So she's holding her brush further down compared to how she did before. But her placement of where she's placing her eyeshadow to create that eye shape is the same as before. Slightly higher up. And like Nikki said, if you have hooded eyes and you tuck that colour underneath the hood, you can't see it. You won't be able to see it. So that's a great tip to take it higher up. And create your own kind of socket line, which is super easy to do on hooded eyes. Yeah, let's take a look at some blending.
Now using a more precise brush, I am determined.
And can you see now, this is why holding your brush in the right place is so important. She's holding the brush further down now, closer to the hairs, because she wants precision and for the colour to come out more intense with a smaller brush. So if she was to hold it higher up, it's difficult to get such precision and definition when you're holding a brush higher up because it's softer. So that's great for blending. When you're holding it right here, it's like a pencil. It's so much easier to get that precision. So that's something a lot of people forget. And I think that's something you can see in someone who's really good at makeup, is they take into consideration where they're holding the brush, with what kind of intensity and what kind of precision they want. Yeah.
So what I'm doing is I'm taking that same brush and kind of tilting it like this, slanted against the skin. And we're just going to scratch it on. And we're just going to diffuse that edge. All right, now I am hopping over to number 5, the palette number 5, and that is what that looks like. And I'm taking these two colors right here and I'm mixing them up, and that is going to be my transition color above all of this. And again, I'm approaching my eye this way. So I'm taking the brush up and I'm angling it against my skin like this, placing it flat against my eye, and I just scratch from left to right. And what that is going to do is it's going to make the brush do the blending for me. So it's going to...
That's a great tip. Here's the thing with a brush. If you hold a brush like this way, you're going to get a more of a, not a solid line, but more of a dense line, because you're literally doing this. If you hold a brush this way, oh, covering my light. If you hold a brush this way, you're going to get like, you know, a normal blend because it's nice and soft. If you hold it this way, you're blending up here, but you're keeping the bottom here sharp. So the look that she's done here with that really precise kind of flick, you're not going to ruin it by blending. If you were to do it this way, there's a possibility that you might blend below that line. Whereas if you're going in this way, you're keeping that line straight still. So that's a really great tip. She's a really great teacher. I didn't realize. I do watch her videos and I watch her tutorials, but I've never sat and like analyzed a video before, because I don't do that when I'm watching like makeup videos. So this is really great to watch.
I'm going to create the precision right here, but the hazy and fogginess at the top.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to say, but she said it, explained it a lot better. Precision, you keep that precision there.
Now I'm quickly going to steal one shade from the number 7 palette, and I'm taking this shimmering light gold, and that is going to highlight my brow bone.
Yes, we're doing the highlight brow bone still. That's good. Okay, you know what? Let's end it there. I love doing this because it's so interesting to see the development of makeup skill and talent. And that's what I think it is with Nikkie, is there is pure talent there. And we can see that from when she first started up to now, that there's still a skill there. Whereas, not to be shady and not to be rude at all, because everyone learns. There's a point where everyone was bad at makeup at some point. When I first started to do makeup, I couldn't blend for shit. Whereas you look at like someone like, for example, James Charles, and we look back at his pictures when he first started doing makeup, and it's definitely not as a high quality as it would be now. So it's really interesting to see someone like Nikkie, who back then was able to create this really precise look just with pure skill and pure talent and artistry, and see that artistry still continue throughout her career on YouTube. Whereas with other, what I'm trying to say is with other beauty YouTubers, you see their skills develop quite obviously, and at first we can kind of cringe at some of their older stuff, and really we might look at Nikkie's older videos and we might be like, oh my god, because the production value wasn't there, of course, like whose was back then. But that's really the only thing that's slightly like, oh, you know, the makeup always looks great. So that's really, really interesting to watch. I hope you enjoyed watching that. I hope you enjoyed seeing the differences or the similarities between back then and now. So yeah, please give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this. Please consider subscribing if you want to. Maybe watch a few more of my videos. You might like me. You never know. Thank you so much for joining me. Have an amazing day. I will see you very soon. Bye.